Aloha, folks. It's Antonio with HypnosisProductReviews.com, and as you can see, I've got my, I don't know if I'm the Vegas baby, my little goofy glasses, and the bottle of what I guess is some kind of pink champagne or whatever it is. Getting ready for HypnoThoughts in Las Vegas. It's gonna be a blast. Today, I'm interviewing David Snyder about his upcoming talk about, how do you say it, the erotic hypnosis event
Well,
here in HypnoThoughts.
we have it's called Erotic Hypnosis Made Easy, and it's Adventures in Ecstasy. So it's all about again erotic hypnosis, but also taking people into very, very intense pleasure states and exploring what's possible, different types of fantasies, the mechanics of how to describe things in ways that are inherently hypnotic, and what are some of the many things that you can actually do with pleasure states.
Awesome, and I'm actually interviewing him. We're interviewing him from his secret underground military bunker somewhere below the mountains of Montana. That's why
Indeed.
the
We call it the
lighting
Bat
isn't the
Cave.
best. The man cave, the bat cave. I can see
World
that.
Domination Headquarters is what we go with.
Yeah, is that a a time machine in the background, or is that
That
just
is, in
Christmas
fact,
lights?
one of my favorite toys. I actually picked that up. It's a computer obviously a workstation.
That is
I
awesome.
actually picked that up at a gaming parlor that was going out of business. They had two of them that had been refurbished. They normally sold for like $7,000, and I picked it up, for a bargain. And it's one of my
Hundreds
coolest,
of that.
one of my coolest possessions ever since. So I feel like I'm Captain Kirk every time I get into it.
Does it have like servos? Can you maneuver it whenever you're playing games?
Oh yeah, yeah. It does. Well, I would like to put that in, but it does have a space for multiple monitors and a huge sound system, and it's actually quite fun. But
So
I
it's
spend
kind
way
of
too much
like
time in it.
it's like that movie. Have you ever seen Grandma's Boy?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's good. It's good. If you want, can you give my audience a brief background about yourself?
Oh sure. What would you guys like to know, gals out there? What do you think? I mean, we could start off with I started hypnosis at the age of 15, and I've been exploring all things hypnotic ever since. I think probably the most relevant things for what we want to talk about today and why it's all important is in the early part of the decade, right around 2004, 2005, I and a group of intrepid hypnotic explorers created a group called the Los Angeles Sleepwalkers chapter, and it was Sleepwalkers at the time was the world's largest free self-help NLP study and practice groups in the world. Our core members, some of whom you may be familiar with, were men by the name of Richard Clark, Scott Sandlin, and Richard Rumble. Thomas Greenhalgh was also a part of our cadre for quite some time. And together we banded hypnotists from all walks of life, all societies, and we got together 4 times a month to just practice, hone, and explore our skills to find out, just how good we could get to help people who had maybe been through a lot of certifications, but they had a lot of cute little wallpaper, but really didn't have a lot of skill set to hang on. And so we had people from from the therapy community, we had people from the persuasion and influence community, even people from the seduction community coming in to practice and learning how to be more effective utilizing hypnosis, NLP, and all related disciplines. From there, we went on to, after about 4 or 5 years of making hypnosis history for quite some time, we all kind of went our separate ways. Scott and Richard went in and formed HypnoThoughts. I went into my own business, promoting and teaching persuasion and influence, erotic hypnosis for advanced communication, social skills. We also opened a clinic down here in Solana Beach, where we specialize in emotionally based illness. In other words, physiological illnesses that have as its cause repressed emotion. Everything from cancers to hysterical paralysis to transplant rejection, OCDs, PTSDs. We deal with it all. And for the past 4 years, I've been running the NLP Power Hypnosis and Practice groups down here in San Diego, which is the largest NLP hypnosis study group in San Diego. We also started doing meetups again in LA. And a few months back, Richard called me up and said, "Hey, you're scheduled to do this instant conversational hypnosis masterclass in HypnoThoughts, how would you feel about changing your topic and teaching erotic hypnosis? You've been doing that for a long time, and we have a big demand for that. And would you be willing to do that? And after about a few minutes, I said, sure. And so what we'll be doing in HypnoThoughts is we'll be teaching very, very powerful but very, very simple to learn and easy to use conversational hypnosis skills within the context of enhancing and amplifying erotic states, orgasms on command, how to utilize those states to enhance fantasies, to actually heal people if you want to do that kind of work, and just have all kinds of fun with pleasure states.
This should be good. And is this a pre or post conference class?
This is going to be a post conference event. During the conference, I'll be doing a couple of breakouts. I'll be doing one specifically on conversational hypnosis. So if you want to, just dive deep in and find the 7 most powerful language patterns, specific protocols that turn anyone who says they don't want to do something into somebody who wants to do something, which is very useful if you're dealing with smoking or people who just have a lot of reactance. We'll be doing
sales like I do.
Oh yeah, there's very specific protocols. I've actually used that same protocol to actually talk somebody out of being in pain. That's how powerful and neurologically active some of these techniques are. It's really interesting. In our own little world out here, we're just going deep dish and just exploring the possibilities with understanding how language interfaces, and language and the body itself interface with proprioception in the body and create very powerful trance effects. I don't want to get too deep into the science behind what we do, but the whole bottom line is there's a lot of science in what we do, but it's very simple, it's very easy, and it's going to give you it's going to supercharge what you can do both in the treatment room, on the street, over the phone, and during sales. It's all very, very powerful, very, very useful stuff. We don't waste a lot of time in the world according to David, at least, on theory. We're going to go deep dish into how you can start getting the results you want the way you want them. Also during the HypnoThoughts conference itself, we'll be doing a 1-hour breakout on energetic hypnosis, which is probably some of the most powerful healing and transformational modalities that we've come out with in a long time. I literally had, using that same stuff I'm going to be teaching at HypnoThoughts during the conference, I literally had a patient during a Skype session yesterday shrink one of his tumors by a factor of 4 in about
Nice.
2 minutes. And I'm still waiting for final corroboration, but it was pretty dramatic to see him going through this process, and each time he went through it, how he was no longer able to find the mass he had been palpating. So there's a lot of things that we're bringing to HypnoThoughts, and we want to share, and just have a good time out there, because everything we do is about having fun and being effective. Which again, we're going to be utilizing the same energy healing technologies in the Erotic Hypnosis Made Easy course. It's one of the things. I shared a video not too long ago on the HypnoThoughts that I had done at one of my unlimited lover trainings, which is a more in-depth, no pun intended, sexuality and sensuality enhancement course, utilizing that same methodology. And again, the system doesn't really care what the information is. All it cares about is what is the structure and how is it encoded. And the system will run any program as long as you know how to write in that code. And that's what we do with energy hypnosis. Most people think of energy as this cloud around the body, when in reality it's highly organized and it carries information. And that information, by definition, must be able to be interpreted by the nervous system in order for it to be utilized or expressed. Once you understand how to find the code, then it's very, very easy to make a change energetically that ripples throughout the entire system.
Like the pebble in a pond.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, I'm stoked. I can't believe it's already been a year.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend, I'll put my goofy face on. I hate doing everybody getting ready for, I don't know if I can point to that, Vegas.
It's very obvious, my friend.
Yeah, very obvious. I hate booking flights, doing all that, so I'll let my girlfriend do it, and then when I talk to her to see how long we're going to be there for 9 days.
9 days, wow.
Or 8 days, something like that. And
are you going to be shooting any videos? Are you going to be like our on-the-spot commentator, giving podcasts, or doing
I don't know
interviews
if I'm
or
gonna do
hang out?
podcasts. I might just take a video camera out there and or just kind of relax and just totally chill back.
Hmm.
And definitely not wear any kind of gear like I've got on right now. Look like a complete idiot with this stuff. But at work, I'm already in how do I say it? Vacation mode.
Right on.
How I remember last year. What was the class you were teaching? It was I think it was a paid class. It was about language patterns. The
That was
what?
instant converse. We actually had three breakouts that we did last year. We had attraction mastery, which was a very powerful approach to manifesting and clearing out blockages to manifesting. That went in a much different direction than I intended it to because the people in the audience had different needs that had to be addressed. But I did actually create a video for people who wanted to experience that class, and I think they might have an extra slot for me. We might actually do that again. But the primary paid classes were energy hypnosis and the instant conversational hypnosis, which to me is probably the class that gives you the most bang for your buck, whether you're doing therapy, whether you're doing uh, sales. I teach a lot of professional influencers, uh, lawyers, doctors, um, some law enforcement people. I teach on various aspects of that, and it's extremely useful, extremely powerful. You take it into a hypnotic context, and you become really, practically unstoppable, both
Hypnotic?
overtly and covertly.
I remember I wanted to see the attraction mastery last year. Was it, if you can give me a roundabout about what that was it basically manifestation?
Well, there are actually 7 stages. So one of the things that my biggest pet peeve with the law of attraction and manifestation community is that they're giving a lot of misleading information, or in some cases, they're not giving you the information that you need. The law of attraction is basically the law of vibration, which says you attract into your life the events and the situations that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. And that's true enough to be true. The problem, Antonio, is that most people don't really realize what their dominant thoughts are. We think, consciously, that our dominant thoughts are the ones we're focused on. But in actuality, our dominant thoughts are the ones that are always playing in the background. They're the beliefs, positive and negative, the self-esteem, the self-worth, the self-image, the inner dialogues that are playing, the things that are going on all the time below the threshold of conscious awareness that determine what we deserve and what we don't deserve. And until we go in and we address those, most of your manifestation work simply will not happen for you, or it will happen in a way that it won't last. So there's like 7 stages that we go through in progressively clearing and rebuilding your identity from the ground up. Allows you to turn those voices, those negative voices, into positive voices, rewrite your personal history. Then what we do is through some very powerful deep trance identification processes, we actually install within you the natural traits and attributes of people who are naturally lucky. Turns out that there are 7 traits that all lucky people possess. They're not metaphysical. They're actually behavioral and attitudinal. And once you install them, your whole sense of your whole way of perceiving the world changes in such a way that you automatically find yourself drawn to more and more fortuitous events. So it kind of things start to kind of happen on autopilot, and then they start to accelerate. So the whole attraction mastery process, or we called it attractivation at that time, was based on clearing out your crap, reorganizing your thoughts and your personal timelines, learning how to borrow the genius of other people, as well as to install through deep trance identification and other methods the personalities and the attributes of lucky people, so that you just started to radiate that kind of stuff, and those would become your dominant thoughts.
Wow, I really hope you do that class again.
It's cool, and because we utilize a lot of the energy healing technologies in it, you get very powerful transformations very quickly. Um,
No,
we, I've seen things that just shouldn't happen based on what we know on most people on most of our current levels of experience with these things. I've seen somebody I literally saw a guy with Asperger's syndrome change in like 2 minutes, utilizing just a couple of the technologies. We've had tumors shrink. We've had nerve damage that people have had for 8 years suddenly go away. and total feeling return into their hands. Um, just a slew of things that happen once you go through these 7 stages. And so yeah, if people want to know more about it, I'm happy. If there's time or there's free, I'm happy to do whatever. I'm all about the work. So what I do for fun is the same thing I'm doing for money. Is I help people, I heal people, I teach people how to do these things. I help them get better. That's my passion. It's my mission. You know.
You know who you should really talk to with this? If you could package, it seems like the attraction or how do you call it? Attractivation.
The attractivation. It's a contraction for activating attraction through inspired action. So.
And it seems like it's packaged mainly for. It's more for people that are in the know about hypnosis. It seems like.
Well, we were opening it up recently to down here in LA, or in LA and in San Diego specifically, through our meetup groups. We're actually teaching the same process through a series of meetups called Secrets of Personal Transformation, and that's something that a lot of people are really getting a lot of benefit out of, because during the meetups, we'll run them through some exercises, then we'll just start pulling people out of the audience who have problems and just start fixing them right in front of everybody, just to show you how fast and easy. And it's something that everybody can do. I had 3 emails today from people in Germany, Holland, and I think there was one here in the States, where they literally took that energy spinning technique and cured their restless leg syndrome, took pain away, and literally. One lady was a massage therapist. She had a client on the table, and she didn't want to have any deep tissue massage, so she had learned this spinning technique on YouTube, freely available, and she did the spinning technique with her client. The back pain went away. She called her the next day. The pain still hadn't come back. And that's one of the interesting things about the technology is, barring any actual structural physical damage, when you alleviate the problems utilizing the spinning techniques and related techniques, it doesn't come back. It's very hard to get it back if you try. It's really cool.
You know what? I would like to see you. You know who Mind Valley is, right?
Oh yeah.
I would love to see, because Vishen. I started listening to one of his meditation tracks. Vishen Lakiani, I believe it is. Super motivation. Lakiani. If I were you, I would try to connect with them, because they love anything to do with that. If you could do any kind of give him any kind of, he loves those kind of techniques, those little kind of mental ups. So yeah, that would definitely be good.
Sure. Like I said, I've been networking with people all over the world right now. I just did a podcast with a gentleman who runs a financial podcast up over in New York, and he had heard my talk on the dynamics of the reptile brain and how it affects people's decision making or lack of decision making, as the case may be. And he was absolutely fascinated, and we answered one of some of the biggest challenges he was facing in his market, was why people don't act on things that are obviously in their best interest. And until you understand the dynamics of the reptile brain, most of the ways that we think logically will get us a result simply won't. But once you engage the reptile, or the lizard as we call it, then you get the entire meat suit highly motivated to do what you want it to do. And at the end of the day, as a hypnotist, our job is compliance. Our job is, we can't do our good work if the people that we're dealing with refuse to follow our instructions or won't follow our instructions.
True. I like when I get somebody that's like, "Oh, I'm going to prove you wrong." I'm like, "Well, I'm doing this for your benefit. If you try to fight me, I'm trying to give you an awesome experience. If you want to fight it and not have a good time, like, hey, I'll still make a show out of it. I'll still have fun."
I see it time and time again, and a lot of times they don't even realize that they're fighting you, because many times they're afraid to let that pain go, or they're afraid to let that situation or condition go. Because, and this is something I learned from our other notorious figure in the hypnosis world, Mark Cunningham, but I give him full credit for it, because it's the one thing that probably more than any other can be responsible for a lot of the success that we have, is that many times the unconscious mind simply, we talk about secondary gain, and that's one aspect, but there's another one, there's a protective aspect, is that many times people won't let an emotional charge go because they're afraid if they do, that they'll forget the lesson connected to that experience and it'll happen again. And you see this many, many times when you go to do the energy spinning technique on people, and you see the fear in their eyes when there should be excitement and hope. And that usually is a tip off that you need to actually not target the symptom, which is usually the pain or the thing that they're complaining about, but the reason that the pain is there, which is the same thing we do when we're talking about dealing with tumors and cancers and things like that. Tumors are just a symptom. Cancer is just a symptom. And until you target the reason why they're manifesting those symptoms, you'll get minimal results. You got to go further up the chain of events to find the source.
No, I'm wondering how can people register for your class? I know they can go to HypnoThoughts Live. I think it's hypnothoughtslive.com. I
Yep.
know they have I think it's a register button.
Yeah, actually, we've got 2 pages set up that for people who want to register for the 2-day post conference. The first one, of course, is the HypnoThoughts Live page. Let me see if I can pull that URL up for you guys real quick. But I got permission from Richard to set up a page on my Real World Hypnosis site.
You know what I can do? I can actually see if I pop my video on. Hey, folks, if you're watching this on this YouTube video on Facebook, you'll probably see a link above or below. I'm not sure. It's on my website at hypnosisproductreviews.com. You look either above. Oh, so this camera's all backwards. You look above or below. You should see a link to the HypnoThoughts page.
Probably the easiest way would be to go to the HypnoThoughts Live site. If people want to contact me personally, they can always email me at david@nlppower.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that they have, or talk to them in depth if they want to go where to go next, or what their best approach to these things are.
We're definitely going to have to do another podcast. I really would like to do an in-depth podcast about the activation process. Is that something you can actually do over Skype if you want to do a podcast?
Most of it can be done over Skype, yeah. In fact, when I originally created that process, I had no idea the scope that it was capable of covering. It was originally designed as a self-esteem transformation project for my mastermind students. I have an ongoing mastermind mentoring program down here in San Diego. We get together once a month on the 3rd Saturday of every month, and it's basically a group-driven mastermind. You come in for that 4 hours, and I ask everybody in the room, what do you want to learn today? What do you want to learn today? What do you want to learn today? And I go around the room and I write down everything you want to learn, and I create the lesson plan on the spot. And for the next 4 hours, we drill you on those skill sets. And the attractivation process came about as a constant request for my students to transform self-esteem, but they use the term inner game, and it really is the inner game of inner game, because it really teaches you where a lot of these problems come from, and it gives you very concrete, very systematic tools for rebuilding yourself for your standards and your definitions. It gives you all the tools that you need, and it's something that's generative. Once you've fixed what you think is broken, you've got the tools to keep amplifying and accelerating it. And we did, in fact, take that and we put it in video snippets. We never released it to the public. It was only something we kept in-house, but I did give a copy of it to my wife one day, just so she could review it. And funny part was she watched the videos, and the next day she walks up to me and she hands me a check for $200, because she got so much out of it, she felt like she had to pay for it. It was one of those weird law of attraction moments where you got to balance the energies, but it was that significant for her. And this is so it's really I'm really proud of that process. In fact, we've got a 2-day workshop on it coming up here in San Diego, July 26th and 27th. Most people probably will not be able to get here for that, but it's been one of our more popular intensives in terms of teaching people how to do self-work. We actually turned it into a self-work program where you could actually it's a combination of me actually doing it to you through the 2 days, as well as you learning how to do it to other people, and ultimately transferring all of those skill sets into self-directed work.
Yeah, I'm definitely want to look into it. Let's see, I think we have everything covered. Didn't realize how late it's not even getting late, but I've just been working nonstop to have money for Vegas, which probably isn't good.
I understand.
Money does not go far over there.
You need the shekels.
Shekels, I know.
But I mean, I'm
Everybody,
happy to, whatever you want to talk about, bro. I mean, I'm glad you took the time out and you put up with all the
yeah.
technical snafus to come and hang out with me, virtually speaking. You
Well,
know.
at least you showed us secret your secret super secret bunker in your basement.
Yeah, I
Or no,
tried
I'm
to
sorry,
I tried to
below
screen off as much of
Mount
the clutter as
Shasta.
I could, but we do our best.
It's good. Remember, God, we were working on this for what, about a year,
Yeah,
trying to get this podcast for about a year.
it's true. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to work for the things you want. But
Exactly.
yeah, I'm glad we finally made it. I don't know what happened with my webcams, but I'm glad I've got 4 computers in the house. One of them actually worked.
That is good. That is good. Everybody, let's see, what's today? Wednesday.
July
By
9th.
the time, yeah, by the time you see this, it should be Thursday. I'm hoping, as long as my brain cranking skills are going to work on getting this video cranked out, and I will see you super soon in Vegas. It's going to be a blast.
It's gonna be awesome. We'll see you then.
Everybody, have fun, and I can stop wearing this ridiculous outfit. There, that's better. That's better. Actually, my hair looks much better with it.
There you go.